become the animal. Embrace the other side. I think he heard you.
Hello, I'm Nat, he's Matt, and we got your geek news right here.
And today we're reviewing the final, locked-off, studio-approved version of X-Men Origins Wolverine.
And to answer the question we've all had on our minds, no. The final version wasn't all that different from the work print.
In fact, it was so similar that I personally feel like a bit of a goober for watching it in the first place. I was really hoping the work print we saw was the version Gavin Hood had before Fox spent those millions, but...
Instead, it seems like the work print may have actually been the final version of the movie.
Yeah, basically what the work print was is something called picture lock, which is to say that all the edits are in place, all that's left is scoring, special effects, things like that. You know, the major difference is basically that this one felt more complete. It had that score, it had those badass effects, even though some of them left a bit to be desired. Even what it came down to for me was the CG claws. I mean, the practical ones in the original X-Men, they were fine. I don't know why we had to go CG and see them moving on his knuckles.
All right. Let's kick off the review with a spoiler-free section, all right?
I'm putting together a special team with special powers. Join me, but you will have your revenge.
So, there isn't really anything that different to say from our work print review, since it essentially was the same film, save for some epic music and improved CG.
However, for those who haven't watched our work print review for more ethical reasons, basically because you couldn't dig it up online with YouTube yanking it down, what you should know is that the movie does indeed borrow heavily from the Origin comics.
And the fact that Hugh Jackman himself was not only a producer on the film, but has become possibly the world's largest Wolverine geek, means there are definite narrative nods to fellow Die-Hard fans.
Although, of course, some tweaks were made to suit the big screen. You'll only notice them if you're as die-hard a Wolverine fan as we are.
And of course, this version still has a fantastic opportunity to see Hugh Jackman naked. Ha!
Well. Look what the cat dragged in.
Guys, whatever this is, take it outside.
Why? You don't call? You don't write? How else am I supposed to get your attention?
Watching Hugh talk about his role in front and behind the scenes on the EPK, it somehow made me enjoy watching him even more than the last time.
Absolutely. Just knowing that he's such a Wolverine fan, you know, he's just so gracious with having the role of Wolverine and seems to have a real appreciation for the character.
And on top of that, he genuinely seems to care about portraying Logan in a way that does justice to who we grew to admire in the comics.
Exactly, not to mention the fact that he looks so much like Wolverine. For all intents and purposes, he is Wolverine.
I love the fact that the film started with the James and Victor storyline from Origins, but it lost the essential hook of Origins, the mystery of which one is Wolverine, and the fathers, and all that, and the love story got jumbled for the plot. Like, a few essential parts of Origins were missing, but we got the point. We got that boy with those claws, and that's what mattered.
Exactly, and the ensemble cast was fantastic. I love Daniel Henney as Agent Zero.
And will.i.am was pretty cool as John Wraith. I liked his chemistry with the Blob. That was fun.
Did you call me Blob?
Great.
Taylor Kitsch was also convincing as Gambit, though not as cool as I remembered him in the cartoons.
But characters like Cyclops and Xavier made it really feel like an X-Men film and not some sad spin-off.
And the de-aging technique has come a long way since X3, since Xavier didn't just look like he was covered in Vaseline this time.
Oh, God. Now, I found Ryan Reynolds as the smart-mouthed, sword-swinging Wade Wilson even funnier the second time around.
Yes.
Oh, he's really the highlight of any movie he's in.
Although turning him into a mute at the end does take away from one of the aspects that makes Deadpool so damn cool in the comics, his attitude.
But on that note, if you stayed until the end of the credits, you may have gotten a scene showing a hand reaching into the rubble, grabbing onto a severed head.
A severed head that looks an awful lot like Deadpool, but with a mouth again. Huzzah! Teaser to the next movie, a Deadpool spin-off perhaps?
Actually, on the topic of post-credit scenes, the cool thing about Wolverine is that there seem to be multiple post-credit endings.
Exactly. Another scene we actually ended up seeing was Logan sitting at a bar in Japan. The bartender comes up to him and asks, "Are you drinking to forget?"
To which he responds, "No, I'm drinking to remember," which is great because it sets us up for Wolverine 2, where we get to see his martial arts training, his wife, maybe even Daken.
Okay, you're getting way ahead of yourself, Matt.
Right. Okay, I did have one problem with the ending, and it was Logan's amnesia.
The adamantium bullet?
Yes. I have to reiterate how stupid that was. Not just the idea of Logan losing his memories when his brain's damaged. I love that idea, actually. The problem I have is the idea of a bullet made of adamantium that will put a hole in his adamantium skull plating for the rest of his life, when the writers could have just shot him in the eye. You could have made him patch without inventing that stupid plot device.
Okay, pardon Matt's berserk geek rage. He does that from time to time. All in all, it was a great X-Men movie, and you should definitely go and see it.
Especially if you watch the work print. In fact, you should see it twice to apologize. I will.
Me too.
I'm coming for blood. No code of conduct. No law.